we have two systems of farming. We have zero grazing and free range. Actually, some of you do semi-intensive. Semi-intensive is good also. But actually, the most common system here we have in Uganda is free range system, of which is a very good system because we really have bigger land here in Uganda. But in some cases, the reason why we have to do zero grazing is most of the youth, we cannot get money to buy those big lands that those people have. But what we have to do, we don't have to leave also the business out of our hands because we don't have what to do. The government cannot employ all of us, and we cannot go to Middle East like most of us. What do? We need to use our brains. Our brains is supposed to work very well. How do we use our brains? Is by introducing the zero grazing system. Zero grazing system, it is somehow cheaper because you might have a smaller land, and that smaller land is the one that you can use for grazing your animals. So what you do, zero grazing, you plant the grasses, then after planting the grasses, you introduce the animals and feed them from one place. So these are the profitability part of it. Most of you who are really looking at zero grazing, you have to think about this, the profitability part of the project. One, your animals are supposed to be high converters. They're supposed to produce more weight per day or more weight gain. Reason being, you will not feed an animal which converts less and it takes longer time to attain the weight you want. You cannot take a zero grazing on the locals, whereby you keep a local and you feed it on 2 kilos per day and you keep it for 3 years or 2 years to make it have over 20 kgs of live weight. That means it will produce carcass 10 kgs. You have to go for a hybrid, either a boa or either a savannah. This is the reason why I am eliminating locals for zero grazing, and I'm also eliminating the dairy animals for us. This is the reason why I don't recommend dairy goats. They are good and they can make more money, but if you are in urban center or close to urban center, or you have the facility and the requirements that can help you benefit from the dairy goats. This is a disadvantage for the dairy goats, like for we people who don't have much money. When you do dairy goats, most of the people who understand dairy goats milk or goat's milk, they are in urban centers or urban areas, and most of the time the land in urban setting is very expensive. And then that means if you're doing farming, you have to look at the village. So if you're looking at the village and you have, let's say, over 20 goats, you're feeding them on zero grazing because you don't have a bigger land, then they will give you over 10 or 15 liters per day or 10 liters. The fuel or the transport you use to bring them to Kampala, process that milk and sell its product, you will end up seeing that it's becoming too expensive because of the process. So I would advise you to go for the meat goats. These are the reasons why I recommend boas and savannas. Savannas are high converters. They grow very fast. A goat of 4 months can weigh up to 15 kgs live weight. So that means it can give you over 7 kgs. If you're feeding it very well and it has a higher blood percentage, a goat of 4 months, it can weigh up to 40 kgs live weight. So even if you slaughter it, it can give you 20 kgs of meat. Let me reach where the profits are. Let me tell you, we have goat centers here in Kampala or in Uganda, and they divide a kilo. Most of the kilos here are at 20,000 or 15,000. They divide it into 4 pieces. Then after dividing it into 4 pieces, that means they have divided it into quarters. Each quarter can again be divided into 4 pieces, of which each piece they are selling it to us at 4,000 shillings. You get? That is almost $1 point something. You get? So that means in a quarter you have gotten over 4 pieces, and each piece is over 4,000. That means that means a whole quarter is equivalent to 16,000. because 4 times 4 is 16. So that means each quarter these people are selling it at 16,000. That means a kilo, that is 16,000 times 4, that is over, is it 60 something per kilo? So that means if my goat I'm feeding it on zero grazing and I slaughter it at 4 months or 5 months, when it has only eaten like maybe 2,000 or 4,000, or let it be even 10,000, and then my kilo is, I've made value addition on it, and I have got like 40 kgs live weight and carcass 20 kgs. So 20 kgs times 60,000, that is 2 times 6. That means I can get 1,200,000 out of one goat. Just make a calculation. I'm talking about those people who can make value addition, who can roast the goats. So if one goat of 5 months or 8 months, I can get 1,200,000. I don't know, even if it has eaten over 200,000 or it has eaten over 50,000, I don't mind about that. So that is already good profits for me. So that's the breakup of goat's meat here in Uganda. That is the state. And for your information, in bigger places, in Serena or Sheraton or anywhere that big people sit, goat's meat a kilo, I think we are eating it at 100,000. Just think about a piece they give you or a quarter they give you, and you pay over 60,000 a plate of goat's meat. So it's really a deal that we people could think about, and we don't joke with it. So it's not just a minor thing. If we don't want to do a value addition, let's look at also the faster growing goats, the hybrids, which can attain more weight, and then we can sell on an average of 200,000. You get? Then the other people go and add in the value addition. Thank you very much. I think let me wish you the best. That was a summary of the system of farming here and the value addition we have. But remember, when you take it to the butcher, they also get at a wholesale price from those guys who slaughter in the abattoir. So they can sell it over 15,000. Then butcher people can also sell it at 20,000. So if you are able to rear the goats and make the final consumption, which is the roasting, you'll be getting a lot of money. You just can't believe, but that's true. Think about it, do research about it. I don't want you to listen to my words and then you just let them be like that. Listen to them, research about them, then you tell me the truth. Then for me, you just need to have to go. Nothing else to tell you.